were beautiful and brown. They partied like crazy too.
You mean colored?
Nah, that was in South Africa. They brown, but ironically too, people in like sub-Saharan Africa, they don't have that same level of respect for Northern Africa. And
really,
yeah, because
they don't consider Africa.
So when I went to Ghana and I said, I went to, I was like, I've only been to Morocco. They was like, oh, that don't count.
What the fuck?
Because they are. A lot of them have more Middle Eastern ties.
Yeah, but this is what I mean about black folk.
I mean, but
like black folk got to see it all. We got to see us all in it together. If you dark colored, darker skin, colored and below, colored to black. If you're of that hue, you participate in the culture. We are all united, and this is what failed. This is what failed Africa and sent them into being the least profitable, or getting the worst end of the stick in the slave trade, because they kept seeing other members of Africa, other people from different tribes in Africa, as different tribal members. They didn't see them as that's my brother, that's my sister.
Europe did it too. They just ain't suffer the same way. Look, if we talk about Europe and Western influence in this,
we can't sit here and act like the consequences for behavior are the same. What one normal group can do as normal and get away with, because they have the systematic backing to support normal consequences, is just the way it is. Our consequences for our normalcy are a lot more severe. We got a lot more to lose. So Africans at that time, during that time period, and I'm not getting off them, and I'm not giving them no goddamn break, they should have acknowledged that is my brother, that is my sister. I would not sell them off this land, because the way that they had indentured servitude amongst the tribes was a lot more respectful, a lot more civil.
Who knows that?
Well, that's according to the history books.
But who knows?
No. Books, African history
books.
But
who knows the consequence of that, right?
Yeah, I mean,
like if I'm beefing with somebody,
slavery by any means ain't good.
Facts, right. But I don't know that you treat them different than.
Yes, you do. If you come here, if the Europeans sent their scouts to come scout the area, and I'm welcoming them, I show them how we conduct business on our land. Right. You get to see how indentured service.
Somebody walk around and be like, yeah.
I treat it.
I get it.
Yeah.
But I want them for.
Right. But no, you come in, you're like, oh, y'all doing that with them? Oh, okay, yeah. They don't even know how we treat them over there. How y'all ain't really getting the most out of them like we gonna get the most out of them. But yeah. Y'all do it's cold. You don't want to let you don't want to know the team you competing with, the advantages that you have.
Yeah.
So of course, you wouldn't. They did get to a point in time where they did know, because there were slaves that escaped slavery from North America. They came back to Africa. Wichita is one of the countries named after America. I think it's Libya or something like that. Mm-hmm. They're one of the first established Black American colonies.
You think that word just spread around Africa that this was happening?
I think word definitely spread around how evil the white slave trade was. Yes, absolutely. It was not. Eventually, it became, because it eventually started. You got to think about it. It got so bad to the point where countries started abstaining from slave trade. European countries had to stop this. It wasn't African countries saying we're going to stop selling to y'all. It was the European countries that had to say. It was the British, it was the French, and it eventually became Spain. They beat all us to abolishing slavery. So if your customers are saying, nah, we ain't doing this shit no more, this shit foul, you like, okay, why is it foul? Oh, it's foul. First off, they've already been there. These kings and queens have traveled to these European lands, especially king, the woman king. That king, he was a treacherous king. They portray him to be this good guy, or this guy who's caught between the fences. Should I profit? He was always horrible. He was horrible. He sold his daughter and one of his daughters into slavery to the Queen Elizabeth. So he knew how heinous slavery was. I don't want to hear that excuse. I don't listen to that. I don't any cop out to Africa or people want to give Africans for their participation in the slave trade. I see them just as accountable as I do the Spanish people. I think that black Americans should get, just like we're fighting for reparations here in America, we should get reparations from the tourist sites in Africa. Because you're going to where our ancestors made these places popular. And you're making a profit from it still. That's the irony of it all. They're still profiting from our ancestors' slavery to this day and not giving us a dime.
Bruh.
They say, oh, yeah, you can become a citizen. What? I want my paper. You ain't taking no citizenship. You taking paper. I want my paper, too. I want my cut.
Bro, you got to understand, a lot of these countries in Africa just got their freedom.
No, they don't. They don't care, bro.
They also just got their freedom.
A lot of them did. That's true, too. But at the same time, a lot of them have had freedom, independence for a very long time. And they weren't trying to unite. Until this day, you still have efforts to unite Africa, but you still have a lot of tribes and countries that just aren't moving along because of the corruption. Again, that's why I say black people in America, at least we listen to each other somewhat. And so hopefully we have... To an extent. You got to think about it. We had Dr. King. We had Malcolm X. Those were our speakers who spoke for the entire continent of black people.
I was just trying to see how far forward you going to come.
And and then even today, we have people like the woman out of New York. I don't know her name off the top of my head.
Yep.
We have Dr. Cornel West, of course. We have Al Sharpton, of course. We have Stacey Abrams doing it. And if you can disagree with these people on all different sides, of course. But I'm saying, I said, listen, black people, for the most part, we do listen to leaders who eventually rise to the top. We do eventually listen to them. We may not agree, and we may not agree with everything. But each ecosystem of blacks has a person at the top that we all adhere some type of credible information from. Unlike these other countries of blacks, is what I'm saying. So that's why I'm saying, like, we have to take a lesson out of Africa's book of where they made missteps and say, look, we all got to unite under one identity and be for each other and on a global perspective. Because now this thing is getting bigger than just black Americans. Yeah, because now rap music is going out. Afro beats, all that Afro music, I don't know the term of it.
Afro beats is
okay. Afro beats. All that is coming in as a new wave. At the All-Star game, the NBA All-Star game is coming up. They got nothing but Afrobeats performers.
Yeah.
All African. No American borns. That's showing a changing of the culture.
Yeah.
What's becoming fiscally viable. Because rap music, they've learned, and they're learning over time, is profitable, but to an extent. Because then it becomes dangerous. And dangerous hurts the business. Compared to the Afrobeats music. Oh, that I woke up. In the sun. And that's how me feeling good. You know what I'm saying? It's friendly. It's